moving through life with a family. It's amazing. But welcome. Nice to see you all on Zoom. Those of you joining on the live stream, welcome to you. And while we're just about to get started, I just want to invite everyone to take a nice, beautiful, deep breath to enter into Shabbat. We're really entering into a space, no matter what space we're in right now, in the chapel or in our homes. Welcome, welcome. We're entering into a space when we enter into Shabbat, a space that is separate from the regular week, a space that offers us some much needed room to breathe. And even if we're celebrating a big simcha, and it feels like there's a lot going on, I hope that we can feel spaciousness this Shabbat and a step back from the world of the everyday, which for sure feels that way for the family celebrating a simcha. But for all of us, we're invited on Shabbat to really just step out of our regular world and the flow of time, which passes very quickly, and to inhabit a different sort of space. We're just going to enter in not only with our breath, but also with a nigun, with a wordless melody, and just join in as you wish. Yai lai 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 lai, ai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 yai lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 yai lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 yai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 yai lai. Once again, welcome to all of you. Shabbat Shalom. We're thrilled to be celebrating this weekend with the Cohn family, the bar mitzvah of Elio Cohn. And I always like to invite folks at the beginning of our Shabbat service on Erev Shabbat to share if there are any other simchas that could be great or small, moments of joy, occasions, anything that you wish to share with the community. For those of you on Zoom, you can put them in the chat, but if there's anything else anyone is marking or wants to bring out besides this wonderful simcha for Elio and his family. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. Okay. All right, so has anyone noticed the sky recently? The moon. So now we're past the full moon, but if any of you, was it last week? It was very full and very bright, and that was the full moon of Cheshvan, the month with no holidays. So it's really special to have a simcha to celebrate. And last week I had the joy of officiating at a wedding. Mazel tov to Denise Carlin and Bill Jarose. and to Amanda Kimmel, who was married last weekend. And now we have this simcha for the Cones this weekend, which is really wonderful. So we're going to invite the Cone family up to light candles tonight, and I need to say a few words about these candlesticks. These are not our usual TOS candlesticks. These belong to the Cone family, and they have an amazing story behind them. They were designed by Carl Cone, who is Tomas Cohn's, David Cohn, the grandfather of Elio, the bar mitzvah. They were designed by Carl Cohn, who is the great-great-uncle of the bar mitzvah. And he emigrated from Prague to Ecuador. And I hear that Carl's grandson, Lorenzo, will be with us tomorrow morning. And Carl was a well-known architect in Czechoslovakia and then in Quito, Ecuador. And he designed these beautiful candlesticks that we are so honored to have with us tonight. And then he gave them to David's grandmother, Hilda. And I love this. She had them on her table at every family meal, but she herself was not Shabbat observant and did not light them for Shabbat. But she had them on her table during every family meal. That's so beautiful. And then she passed them along to David's parents, to Tomas and Elaine, and then on to David and Stephanie and Elio and Caleb. So it is my honor to invite your family up in honor of your special Shabbat. Candle lighting blessings are on page 2. Like to do it in your family. If you want to come all the way up, and I'll grab a prayer book. Okay, you can go ahead and light. And as the candles are lit, I invite you to bring that warmth and that peace right into yourself so that you can in turn bring it outward into the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, Mazal Tov. Let's sing Shalom Aleichem, welcoming the angels of peace into this space and time of Shabbat, page 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seifchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On page 18, we're going to turn to a bit of Psalm 29, just the last two lines. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo. May God grant strength to God's people. May God bestow on God's people well-being. We'll turn to Lecha Dodi, pages 20 and 21, saying, "Come, my beloved, let us greet Shabbat together." We greet Shabbat, we enter into Shabbat with our beloveds, with community, and being connected to one another, we are able to greet this beautiful wellspring of tradition and this ancient ritual of pausing on Shabbat. So pages 20 and 21, it's our custom to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, it's a custom to rise and to face the door and to bow as if we're bowing to a queen or a bride who is entering in. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pene Shabbat neka bela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad. לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקה בלה. שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5. התעוררי התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה. הנה שבת נקרא below. We rise as we're able to face the door behind. Verse 9. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה. הנה שבת נקבלה. We can be seated. On Shabbat, when we step back from our regular pace, we can experience or maybe cultivate awe and wonder, even at small things or things that we think of as small things that are not so small, whether they are just the sight of a beautiful tree, a leaf, anything in nature, a sunset, a cloud, or even just the look of a loved one. So we really are called into awareness and gratitude and wonder. We sing a part of our psalm designated as a psalm for Shabbat, top of page 71, Ma gadlu ma'asecha ya. How amazing is your creation, God. Me'od amku machshavotecha. So very deep are your thoughts. So think of something perhaps from this past week that elicited in you, or maybe should have at the time but didn't, some sense of awe and wonder. See if you can reflect back. Something amazing. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something quite simple and small. Our tradition calls us to notice the miracle, the miraculous in the mundane, including just breathing and waking up in the morning, and tells us that those things are not so mundane after all. So think of something that was a miracle, even if it was a miracle in the mundane, as we sing together Hallelujah. And those of us who are feeling brave can sing the words at the top of 71. Ma gadlu ma'asecha ya me'od amku machshavotecha. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Ma gadlu ma'asecha ya me'od amku machshavotecha. Ma gadlu ma'asecha ya me'od amku machshavotecha. Ma gadlu ma'asecha ya me'od amku machshavotecha. Ma gadlu ma'asecha ya I hope that this Shabbat you'll be able to find many moments that make you say, Ma gadlu, ma'aseh chaya. You don't have to say that, it's okay. But to say wow, it really just means wow, right? And I know the Cohn family will be saying wow a lot, and I hope that all of us will be saying wow this Shabbat for anything large or small that elicits wonder and awe. So I want to share a few words about where we are in Torah this week. We are in Parashat Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah. That's what Chayei Sarah means. Interestingly, life, the Hebrew word life, chaim, from l'chaim. Even if you don't know Hebrew, you've heard that before. Chaim is a plural word, actually. And so we translate Chayei Sarah as the life of Sarah, but it really has a sense of fullness and of even a plural. But it's not about Sarah's life, this parasha. It begins by chronicling her death. And Sarah is the wife of Abraham. So Sarah and Abraham, the first patriarch and matriarch, the parents of the Jewish people. And in this parasha, we have the death of Sarah, the first of the matriarchs. And most of the first chapter of our Torah portion focuses on Abraham purchasing the cave of Machpelah for Sarah's burial. The first words, Vayiyu chayei Sarah me'ah shana ve'esrim shana ve'sheva shanim shnei chayei Sarah. And the life of Sarah, I'm literally translating here, the life of Sarah was 100 years and 20 years and 7 years were the years of the life of Sarah. So if you were editing the Torah, you might have made some tweaks that you didn't need all those words in there, right? You could have just said she was 127 years old. But whenever there's seemingly an extraneous word or words in Torah, our Torah commentators make a big deal out of it and say it must really be trying to tell us something. Because it says she was 100 years and 20 years and 7 years were the years of the life of Sarah. That's a lot of words to tell you she was 127 when she died. The Plaut Humash, the book of Torah translation and commentary, notes that it is a combination of 120, and if you've ever been wished until 120, or ad mea ve'esrim, if you've ever heard that upon a birthday, if someone's wished you that, or if you've ever heard that or received that wish or blessing, it means may you live to 120. 120 is considered an ideal lifespan in tradition because Moses lived to be 120. So this commentary notes that Sarah lived to be 120 plus 7. And 7 is a really significant number in Jewish tradition. 7, the seventh day, is Shabbat. 7 connotes completion and wholeness and fullness. So there's got to be something to it. These numbers in Torah are never accidental. So we get here an above and beyondness, a kind of extra to the years of Sarah's life, something more than is expected. And what's interesting is the same is true of the quality or the characteristic of a human life, which is the focus of much of this parasha. And that is the quality of chesed. Chesed is usually translated as loving kindness, sometimes compassion. But it's really hard to give it an accurate translation because it has a connotation in it of more than is expected or necessary, of really abundance, of going above and beyond. And this is a quality that comes up multiple times in this parasha, specifically in regards to Rebekah, who is going to be the next mother of the Jewish people. She is going to marry Isaac, the son of Abraham and Sarah, and they will have Jacob and Esau, and Jacob will become Israel. Jacob becomes the father of the people of Israel. So Rebekah, is very important to the Jewish people, needless to say. And in this parsha, Abraham's servant, who he has sent to find a wife for his son Isaac, his servant Eliezer, goes to find a wife. Significantly, he's going back to where Abraham came from. A few parshiot ago, God told Abraham, get up and go. I'm not going to tell you where, but leave where you're really rooted. Leave your birthplace, leave your father's house, and go to the land I'll show you. So Abraham has done that. Meanwhile, his family has stayed back in Haran, where he came from, and he tells his servant, go find a wife for my son from back there. He doesn't want his son to have a wife from among the Canaanites where he now is, and that's another story. But when his servant Eliezer goes to find Isaac a wife, he wasn't given any direction about what Isaac's type was, shall we say, right? He didn't say he likes, dark hair, blonde hair, tall, short. Abraham didn't tell him anything at all. He said, go find a wife. But Eliezer himself seems to have a really strong sense of the quality, the kind of person that he should find for Isaac. And what is that quality? Chesed. So he actually prays. We know he wants a woman who has chesed, who has that abundant loving kindness, however we could translate it. There's no one English word that does the trick. But we know that that's what he's looking for, because the text tells us that Eliezer took 10 of his master's camels, so he's got 10 of Abraham's camels with him, and laden with an abundant store of his master's goods. Again, that sense of abundance and more than. He got up and went to Aram Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. He made the camels kneel down outside the city at the well, at the time when the girls who draw water go forth. And here he prayed, Eternal One, God of my master Abraham, please bring me luck today and do a kindness. Here we see the word chesed, aseh chesed, for my master Abraham. Here I'm standing at the water fount, and the daughters of the townspeople are going forth to drink water. The girl to whom I say, tip your pitcher and let me drink, and who replies, drink, and let me also give water to your camels. Let her be the one you've designated for your servant Isaac. That is how I shall know that you have done a kindness, asita chesed, for my master. How interesting. He says, if I see a woman drawing water and she says, I'm not only going to give you, thirsty person, water, but I'm going to schlep water for 10 camels, that's going to be exactly the woman that I want to bring home to Isaac to marry. That's chesed. That's going above and beyond. Rebecca could have seen him and said, you look thirsty, here's a cup of water, and she could have been done schlepping water from the well. But, in fact, she waters his camels as well. There's a Jewish educator that I became familiar with online named Hanan Harchol, and he wrote about the importance of chesed in our tradition, and he tried to come up with a more accurate translation. And so I just want to point out to you the three things that he gets at to try to flesh out what does chesed really mean, above and beyond. But more than that, he says it's choosing to feel or hear another person's pain or hurt. So that's really empathy, right? Choosing to act to heal that person's pain or hurt, and doing the above without any expectation of reward or calculation. Choosing to feel the hurt of another person, choosing to act to heal that person's hurt, and doing that without any expectation of reward or calculation. And he writes, this type of selfless kindness requires making the choice to shift the focus away from yourself and your own needs, and to really put yourself in another person's shoes. And it's easy to talk about, but it can be hard to do in a genuine way, especially if fear gets in the way. So I thought that was a really interesting kind of fleshing out of what chesed means. And I just want to tell you that here we are in the birth story of the Jewish people. We're really in these family relationships now in the book of Genesis that are going to birth our entire people, and chesed comes up again and again. And it really is one of the most significant Jewish values, one of the most significant mitzvot, and we see it in countless texts and law codes through the millennia. There's the famous verse from the prophet Micah, What does the Lord require of you? Only to do justice and to love goodness and to walk modestly with your God. But we have in there the word chesed. Ve'ahavta chesed. To love goodness, chesed is translated there as goodness. And from the Pirkei Avot, the collection of wisdom from the Mishnah, known as Ethics of the Fathers, we learn that the world stands on chesed. Al shlosha devarim, on three things. Ha'olam omed, the world stands. Al haTorah, on the Torah. Ve'al avodah, on worship. Ve'al gemilut chasadim, acts of chesed. The Kabbalists, the Jewish mystics, taught that the creation of the world by God, God's self, was an act of chesed. So I want to leave you with that as food for thought for this Shabbat, that this central characteristic we see in this, an action that we could have glossed over in Torah. Okay, Rebecca gives water to Eliezer and to the camels, but she gave above and beyond, and it seems that the number of years that Sarah lived and is buried in this parsha, she lived above and beyond the 120. And so I invite you to just consider, how can you enact chesed in the world and go beyond what is required or what is expected, and perhaps to reflect on what does it feel like to be the recipient of chesed. And I just want to share that it's a timely parsha because just this week we had a meeting to relaunch and grow our chesed committee here at the synagogue. Now, many synagogues have chesed committees, and those are usually the committees that help congregants take care of other congregants. And ours has a special name. It's called Kayla's Caring Community. And it was named for a little girl named Kayla, whose parents were the recipients of great chesed and wanted to give back because Kayla was very sick. And after she passed away, in her memory, her parents, who are among our members, decided to create and fund the works of a chesed committee. So this is very timely. We've just relaunched it. Any of our members are welcome to join or learn more about how to get involved. We'll be sharing more about it in our newsletter, and invite you all to be those who enact chesed in the world. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to turn to the Baruch Hu on page 28, and please rise if you're able. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Can be seated. Page 30, honoring the cycles of light and darkness, especially now when we feel that darkness as it comes on so early, but we stand in awe of those cycles. Page 30, a few lines up from the bottom. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו, לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Page 32, giving thanks for the gift of Torah, which includes so much about chesed, the gift of a guide for our lives. Ahavat Olam, page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו לאורך ימינו
אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 34.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בעם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We'll turn to page 40 for our people's great song of immense gratitude for having crossed from slavery into freedom.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף לב, נורא תהילות אוסף לב, מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא אלי אלי אלי, יא אלי אלי אלי, יא לי 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 לי, יא לי לי לי, ay li li li, ay li li li, ay li li li.
We'll turn to page 42 for our lullaby of a blessing. Let us lie down in peace, God, and rise tomorrow to a new day. Page 42 at the top.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim.
Down to the indented lines.
Ushmor tzedkenu, uvoenu השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. Now imagine that you are embraced and held by a canopy of peace. Perhaps you're standing under it or it embraces you like a talit, like a prayer shawl. We're going to sing Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, a simple but profound prayer that we be sheltered in a canopy of peace. Third line down, page 42. Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Please turn to page 46 for our standing prayer, the Amidah. Please rise as you're able. We'll chant the first three blessings aloud, then we'll have some moments for individual prayer, and then we'll join together with a prayer for peace. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ויהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך מנית ומחייב, ומצמיח ישועה, ולמען אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We can continue either starting on page 53 or simply take some quiet moments for the words in your heart. As we're ready, we join with prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, on page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom, ki ata hu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amo v'shalom bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. So on Shabbat, though, we're very much in touch with the blessings of our lives and really aware of that abundance. And we are not meant to really focus on what we don't have. We do pray for peace, as we just did, and for healing. We pray for those on Shabbat and on every day. So if you are aware of anyone, if you know anyone in need of any kind of healing of body or spirit, we at this time invite anyone present here to bring their names into our space. I'll invite names from those here in the chapel and those on Zoom. You're welcome to put names into the chat. And those of you who are on the live stream, I do encourage you to say the names of those for whom you're praying aloud, even to yourself, even if no one else can hear you. I believe there's real power in that as we're praying in community. So does anyone in the room have anyone to mention for healing? Yes, Andy. Okay. And I'm seeing in the chat Kenny Hoffman, Brenda Flood, Liesel, Jerry, Susan, Peg, Richard, and Alan. And think also of Harvey Solomon, Chaim Meir ben Shlomo v'Chanalea, of Joseph Siegel, Yosel ben Root, of Betty Vinower, Arnold Berkman, Julia Berkman, Marjorie Kahn, Linda Hoffman, Leah Bat Kayla, Esther Neshama, Karen Weber, Esther Tzvia Bat Asher v'Nechama, Judy Shepro, Chaya Mesh, Cassandra Warshawski, Chaya Blima, Bat Chaim Chia V'Tzilia Rochel, Jeffrey Colt. May all those we hold in our hearts for refuah, Noah refuah shlema, complete healing, we sing together on page 253 in the middle of the page. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We turn toward the conclusion of our service with Aleinu on page 282, and we rise as we are able. Aleinu leshabeach l'adon hakol, l'atenu l'yoser breshit, shehu notei shamayim veyoser haaretz, umoshav ikaro bashamayim mima'al, ushchinatu zo benofei merumim, hu Eloheinu einod, va'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Page 287. ונאמר בה' למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We can be seated, and we have a moment now to remember those we have lost from this world, those we have loved who are no longer with us in this world, but with us in other ways. With Mourner's Kaddish, if you're in a time of mourning or observing a yard site, an anniversary of a death, and you would like to share the name of those you are remembering, you're welcome to do that now on the chat and in the room, and those on the live stream. If you're saying Kaddish, I do encourage you to say the name of your loved one aloud. And we also have our service bulletin has our names of those in our community who have died at this season in years past. Is anyone here reciting Kaddish for anyone in particular? Okay. And look in the chat. Eva is saying Kaddish for her mother, Rose. May her memory be a blessing, Eva. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. We can be seated. So before we conclude our service with the Cohn family coming up for Kiddush and Motzi in a moment, I just want to share a few announcements. So again, Mazel Tov to Elio and to the whole Cohn family and extended family on the bar mitzvah of Elio this Shabbat, and that service will be tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. in the sanctuary, and all are welcome. We'll also be Zooming that service, so all are welcome in the sanctuary or on Zoom for that Shabbat morning service with the bar mitzvah of Elio Cohn. On Sunday, we're participating in the Brookline Interfaith Thanksgiving worship service, which has been a tradition for many years. Rabbi Queen will be representing us and as part of the Brookline Clergy Association. It will be an interfaith celebration of gratitude at 4:30 p.m. on Sunday. Not here, but I don't have the name of the church here, but it's at a local church, and all the information is on our website if you're interested in joining in that. We'll be closing our offices for Thanksgiving at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. We'll be closed on Thursday and Friday. But I do want to tell you about a special thing we'll do for our service next Friday night. I will be leading on Zoom only. But those of you who are planning to come and join us on Zoom for that Thanksgiving Shabbat service, I would like to give you an assignment to bring a reading, a quote, an offering about gratitude, something on the theme of gratitude or something to share to show what you are grateful for, so that we can just, doing a little crowdsourcing here, and I thought it would be really nice to do something a little different. And so all are welcome to join on Zoom 6 p.m. for that service where we will share in some Thanksgiving together. And on Saturday, December 3rd, do not miss this. More than a few of us in this room are participating as performers. Saturday, December 3rd at 7:30 p.m., when in honor of our congregation's 180th anniversary, we'll be having a concert. We're calling it Music and Musicians of TOS, Past, Present, and Future. We'll have special guests, our former cantors here, Robbie Solomon and cantor Randall Schloss and Leah Schloss, along with our High Holy Day Choir, David Spar, Josh Cohen, Andy O'Connell, myself, Rabbi Queen, our congregational band and choir, and our new religious school band. And dessert, in case that wasn't enough. And speaking of dessert, the Cohns have graced us with some amazing looking cupcakes from Party Favors, which is known to be a very nice place to get cupcakes from. You'll be doing me a favor if you eat some of them, because otherwise I will eat too many of them. I'm so sorry, those of you on Zoom, we don't yet, but soon we'll have the technology to send the oneg and kiddush, what? Willy Wonka, yes. We'll have some situation like that. We'll send it out on Zoom and live stream. We're not quite there yet, but I'm sure that's just around the corner. And Mazel Tov again to the Cohns. So please come on up for Kiddush and Motzi. Cohns, those of you on Zoom, if you want to bring your Kiddush cups into your Zoom square, our blessings will be on page 5 And please rise as you're able. All right, Elio. I think it's your turn to hold the Kiddush cup. Yeah. All right, page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. And you can take a sip. That's the important part. And if we can have you take off the challah cover and hold up the challah, Elio. You guys can all say Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam min haaretz. Amen. You and your family are welcome to have some challah. We'll have it for everyone to share, and I believe we have some hand sanitizer back on that back table. Following services, you're all welcome. Again, mazel tov to the cones. And you can feel the energy of all the kvelling in the room already. And I can't wait for tomorrow morning. And as I said earlier, but some of you weren't here yet, but Caleb, Elio's older brother, became bar mitzvah early in the pandemic. And so he had a Zoom mitzvah entirely. And it was beautiful in its own way. And Caleb did an amazing job. And tomorrow will just be very, very special. Because Caleb will also be participating in the service in a special way and having that time. And as I said earlier, it's always special as a rabbi to have the next child in a family and feel like you're really accompanying a family through life. What a gift. And particularly when it's an amazing family, like your family. So mazal tov, and you're getting some mazel tovs on the Zoom chat as well, you should know. We're going to conclude our service with Olam Chesed Yibaneh, which we haven't yet pasted the words into our prayer book. We sing it a lot. It just means, may there be a world built on love. We're going to build a world on love. But what is the word there? Chesed. We know that doesn't just mean love. It means all the things I told you about. If you were listening, then you have a whole bigger concept of what chesed means, right? More than is expected love, compassion, and loving kindness in abundance. So we're going to sing about that, and you'll catch on if you don't know it. Olam chesed yibaneh, da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, da-da-dai, dai-dai, la-la-lai-lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai-dai. I will build this world from love. Da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai-dai. And you will build this world from love. Da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai-dai. And if we build this world from love, da-da-dai, dai-dai, this world from love. Ta-da-dai, dai, dai, ya-da-dai, dai. Olam chesed yibaneh. 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 Ta-da-dai, dai, dai, ya-da-dai, dai. Thank you so much to Andy O'Connell and to Josh Cohen, not Cohen, Cohen. Josh is not only our tech guru who makes it so that people as far away as California, and even sometimes we've had people from the Netherlands and England, and we might have had people tonight from Italy. He makes it possible for people to hear us and see us, but also comes in with some percussion, and it's like this magical percussion that's just coming from back there. So if you were wondering, that was Josh. So thank you, Josh. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for all of us, and thank you to the Cohns, and Mazal Tov to you. Thank you for giving us a special opportunity to have a simcha during this month of Cheshvan when we have no holidays. So thank you, and thank you for the cupcakes in advance. And you're all welcome to go to the back. We have some challah, some cupcakes, and we'll see